Yo, what up? It's Eli.
It's Noah.
It's Jason.
And today we have big man in the building today. Kind of runs everything at the school. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm the big man in the building. No, my name is John Harrington. I'm the principal here at St. Pat's.
So, yesterday, big win for us. Yesterday, the basketball team won the super sectional at UIC. Crazy to think. I feel like I'm dreaming still. I think everyone feels that way.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
No.
it doesn't feel real. So, first question I want to ask, how big is that for our school, winning that super sectional championship, going to Urbana for the first time in school history? How's that big?
Well, I mean, I think it's big for a bunch of reasons. I think one of the really cool things to see with you guys is you're, like a lot of things at St. Pat's, you're part of this shared experience now, right? I got guys that walked in this morning, the class of 1969, almost in tears because we were going downstate. Because he's saying, man, it's never happened before. So, it's this like common understanding of how cool it is that's kind of galvanizing the whole Shamrock community. It's creating all this excitement, and that's cool. That brotherhood and that community feel that we have here is not it's not fake. And that's, I think, a good example of this shared experience that you guys have. It spans all these generations. So that's really cool. I think, for Coach Bailey, who I have great respect for, I mean, he's gotten to this point, and how many times did it come down to overtime? I think 3 times of the last 4.
Yeah.
And then to win like that, I just felt really, really happy for him and all the boys. I mean, you guys all know everyone here is a hard worker. Everyone here is involved in some sort of sports. You guys know how much you put into that, right? And it's so crazy. That's one of the cool things about sports. And you've heard me probably say way too many times, especially these two, it can't always be about the results, right? It's about a lot of other things. At the same time, when you get the result, it's pretty cool too. You work so hard. So, it's just, it's a real surreal experience, even for me, guys. I mean, this is probably the furthest. I've worked in a lot of high schools, and I've never been a part of one that went this far. I've gone to ones that we've got close, but never actually downstate. And we've had a great year for it, too. I mean, we had, our wrestling team, guys go down there. So we're on a really good trajectory. And now now the pressure's on all the spring sports.
Oh yeah, we're not worried
To show up, let's go.
It only goes up from here. And I could tell, like, you were very, very, you were also, like, a big part of us winning. Like, you even took a seat, and I saw you, like, you were head like this, like, focused, like, and I could tell that, like, as soon as, like, they won, like, not only did the basketball team won, but I think we all won as a community. Like, you could turn to the other side and see Coach Shamrock, like, jumping up for joy, and, like, you look to your side, and you could see, like, that you were. And you got that video of us of them running up to the stud section. Like, I don't know. It just, like, it still just feels like just yesterday we were sitting in the arena. And,
Yeah,
like,
we were.
I
We were
know,
just
but
yesterday.
like now it's like insane. I don't know. It just doesn't sink in. You can tell how many people care for our school. Our whole side erupted yesterday. I think we were the loudest in that big stadium. I don't know.
Well, you guys do a really good job. I mean, when you guys are all there and focused, it's like I mean, look at the. I'm not wanting to talk about other schools because we're all lucky to have amazing schools around us. But when you look, my youngest son was at the game, and he was like, "Man, your student section is blowing the other side away, right?" And he's right. And then when the boys run up to you, when the team runs up to you guys. I took that video because I only wanted to send it to my family. One of the members of my family decided to send that out on social media. But, it's a really cool symbol of what makes St. Pat's special is that common community that we feel together.
Oh yeah, would you say, like, just from an outsider's perspective, you have any critiques for the student section? Anything we got to work on or do better for Thursday's game?
You know, I really thought you guys did a nice job yesterday. I thought you spent a lot more time. It probably helps that the other student section was so far away.
Yeah.
But but I thought you guys did a good job of really being about your team and each other. I know, Jason, you did the Belmont, Austin, Chan. I always liked that one. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting after the other team and the other coaches, as long as you're being like good sportsmen. But don't forget that part of your thing is to like push your team, right? Get them pumped up. And I thought you guys did a great job of that last night. It was a good balance of heckling the other team and supporting your own. So well done.
No, yeah, like when Neve got that layup, we all took our shirts off. I think that was the ending point.
Pretty funny.
The whole thing erupted. Like, I didn't even realize when the Mount Carmel kid shot the shot. I didn't even realize like we had like 50 seconds left on the board. I thought it was like still like a minute 30 left. I was like, oh my! I looked at the board. I'm like, I see Coach Reardon and like Mr. Santucci just celebrating. I'm like, what's happening? I look at the board. It's 50 seconds left. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, if like
we were planning to do tarps off. Like that was literally the perfect.
Yeah, we were planning to do it way earlier.
Because that layup was what kind of set us away. Because then we were up 5 at that point.
Yeah.
And that 50 seconds lasted about 3 hours.
That was the longest 50 seconds of my life.
Yeah. So, but shout out Dog Fob for that free throw to win it. That was huge. He's been clutch all playoffs. He had 14 the first quarter against Fenwick and 21 in the first half out of the 30. He had a big playoff. He's a big name in this playoff run. He deserves some shout out credit.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting though. Like look back and see EJ and Fav freshman year compared to now. It's big different. It's insane now.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna move away from yesterday, and we're gonna focus here on Mr. Harrington. So you want to talk a little about yourself and growing up and growing up at not a rival high school, but high school in our conference. How you basically got here. So you want to tell your story?
Sure. Yeah, we want to put you guys to sleep, right? You're already half asleep. Well, I guess I'll be quick about it. Yeah, I went to St. Viator, and actually had lots of moments against St. Pat's just sort of throughout my high school career. Funny enough, it was like back in the day when they had I don't even know what the station was. They'd have like the game of the week on some cable access channel that no one actually watched. But for some reason, it was always against St. Pat's. And I still have the VHS. You guys probably don't even know what VHS is, but I have the VHS of that game. And my buddy, what's funny about that game, you guys in football probably heard about that a little bit. My buddy, who's going to coach here next year, he's going to help coach running backs. I think against St. Pat's, he had 6 touchdowns that game. It was like yeah, right. It was his like big blow up game. But I don't know, Pat's always is kind of around. In fact, I was going through some stuff, like some old photo albums from my freshman year that I think my mom made for me when I graduated. And I had all these pictures of me playing basketball against St. Pat's in like these super tight 1989 uniforms. Short shorts, right? Those are back in style, though. Anyway, it's always kind of been around. But, yeah, I wouldn't be here, actually, if it weren't for Coach Mertens. He and I went to college together, and we played football together for a while. And then when we graduated, I actually wasn't even in teaching. I had my degree, but I left graduate school like middle of the year because I just kind of had enough of Valparaiso, Indiana. No offense to Valparaiso, Indiana. And was working like a desk job on a computer, bored out of my mind. And he called and asked if I would be interested in coming to teach at Pat's, but it had to be math, and math. I'm not good at math. Like, all right, I probably can figure this out though. I'm a pretty good teacher. So, but I ended up coming here and teaching math for 1 year, and then they got me into history. So yeah, that's how I got here originally. I coached Mr. Santucci. So they came and I was coaching football. I played football and was coaching football at Valparaiso. And so they put me on the sophomore staff with some guys that you probably don't know. But Mr. Santucci was like a tight end, DN there, skinny 6'2" kid. And that's how I got to know him. And, yeah, so I was here for those 2 years. And then I left But Mr. Santucci, I always stayed in contact. I went out to California, was teaching and coaching out there, and we would talk every now and again. And then when he went to Notre Dame, I kind of followed his career, and then there was like a big gap of time I didn't hear from him at all. I mean, he was a kid, right? He was in college, he was playing football, he was doing whatever he was doing, and then he went to the pros and all that. But I remember it was Thanksgiving, and he was back at Notre Dame after the pros, and he was an intern, right, making nothing in their fundraising. And someone had told him that it's a good thing to, not like pay it back, but thank people, right, show gratitude. And so he'd sent me an email and on Thanksgiving, just, hey, and I hadn't talked to him at this point probably in like, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years. And he just said, hey, I want to thank you for, coaching me. And when he was a junior, him and Tim McGargle, have you guys heard that name?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were best friends. So they were like the high recruits coming out of here. And they got invited to this Michigan State camp. And I don't remember this because I was 25 and my brain doesn't work anymore. But for some reason, they needed a ride. And so I drove them to Michigan State camp and, just stayed up there while they went to this camp. They were getting recruited by everyone. To me, it was no big deal. I mean, I had nothing else going on. So anyway, he remembered that and was like, thanks for when you did this and that. And that started us talking. And then we stayed in contact for years until he got the president job here. And then I was on the St. Pat's newsletter. I told my wife, if I ever got a chance to go back to St. Pat's, like that's what I would do. It's just it's a very pure place. Public schools are great and they serve their purpose, but they're a very complex place. St. Pat's is not complex. We know what we're about. We have an identity. And so I always said that. So he got the president job, and I said, hey man, congratulations, that's awesome. And that started a conversation about me coming back here. So here I am. We made it work, and it just goes to show you guys, sometimes we forget, I forget, we all do, these relationships that you make, and some might go to the side and you become acquaintances, but some relationships you don't expect can end up changing your life 20 years later. That's so, take advantage of all these people you meet. You just never know what's going to happen. So I guess that's my story, quickly.
That's a pretty good story. Do you remember playing Pat's football? What year did you graduate, Mr. Harrington?
93.
93. Do you remember playing Pat's football?
Yeah,
I remember playing against my dad?
I don't remember playing against your dad. I think I remember this. I think I remember your dad visiting Coach Mertens and I when we were in college, but I don't remember playing your dad.
Big Mike.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, we studied and stuff like that. Good students. I do remember. I remember playing. There are lots of memorable things about playing Pats. One of them was playing at Old Hanson Field.
Oh, yeah.
Because then everyone would go out and buy turf shoes, and everyone would buy all these covers for your elbows and everything because it was that old, nasty turf that was, like, worn down to concrete. Yep. And, I mean, you think some of these burns you get out here are bad, man. That was, like, brutal. But it was kind of cool, though. You're like, all right, we're playing on turf. 1992, that was cool. Everything was grass then. Yeah. So, I remember that playing at Hanson Field, and,
I have a question. What was your most memorable moment coaching here, if you remember any?
Coaching here?
Yeah.
Geez, that's...
If it's a Pat Camboni story, that would be better.
That's a good question, Jack. I'm probably going to let you down. I don't think I have, like, the most memorable. I think, let's see, my last year here, I was the head sophomore coach. We went 5-4. One of my most memorable moments is actually me being a bad coach. How's that for an answer? I remember. Is that okay? No, it's not good.
That's not a story, though.
That is a story. I'll tell you. We were playing Marion Catholic last game of the year. They rolled us, and I remember our front line on our kickoff return was bailing out super fast. So what did they do? They came out and kicked an onside kick and recovered it. They were already up by like 35. I'll never forget that. I was pretty embarrassed as a coach. The rest of my life, I always remembered that. But let's see. I can't remember. I remember Coach Gamboni, he being like the big recruit everyone wanted. Hey, we're getting Gamboni, backhand Boney. He's going to truck everybody. Like, all right, that's great. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jack. I don't really have great, like, significant. There's no, like, Hoosiers moment with my coaching career here. It was more about the people. Sorry. It was just more about the kids and the people. I will say this. It was the first time, like, it was the first time I coached high school, and it was the first time I really was like, this is really what coaching's about, right? Like, 80% of these kids are never going to play past high school, maybe more, right? 90%. So it was more about, like, making them feel a part of something and teaching them about the other sides of sports. So there's my cheesy answer. That's my memory.
No, that's that intro to teaching with Mr. Harrington.
Yeah.
I got that class next period.
I know.
And I just want to say, like, not only have you came and, like, been there, supported, and, come out to these games as our principal, but, like, you've done so much for just the school as a whole with, like, all these different branches of new classes and things that we're able to take and the paths that we can go down. And, I can't thank you enough, because it sounds just like as if I'm sitting in in my second period class right now, listening to what we talk about, and I can tell that you've always it's like when you talk and you, especially like to us, it's like you want to develop leaders, and you want leaders not just here in the building but when we go out there as well. And one thing I've learned from class is that I feel like Mr. Harrington's always been a great guy, and he always brings, like, the energy not just in here but just everywhere that he goes.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if I've always been a great guy, but I try my best. I am super cheesy. I'm consistently cheesy, right? I can come off that way. Well, yeah. Thank you for saying that, Noe. I'm a big believer in relationships and people, and I think they're the heart of anything that really is worth doing. No matter what you guys do. I mean, even if you guys are gonna get out into the I don't know. Jason, what are you studying? What are you going to study? What's your plan? Besides go to the MLB, what are you going to do?
Kinesiology.
Okay.
Or the study of, like, exercise science.
Yeah, I know what it is. Thank you. What are you going to do, Alex?
I'm going to do accounting.
Okay.
I'm going to be accountant.
Mine's marketing.
Okay.
Marketing. I heard that too. Marketing.
You already know what I'm studying, so.
Well, you're your own man.
Business management, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I would venture to say all of those, there's going to be some relational component to it. Whatever, if you're selling stuff, there's relationships. If you're working with people, there's relationships. You're going to be working on accounting. If you're accounting for a company or accounting for people. And so I think that, those are often difference makers. Now, I could be wrong. You could end up working behind a desk, behind a computer, and never leave your house for the rest of your life. If that's what you want to do, awesome. But so you guys will see what I mean. It's just part of that, growing up process.
Now, Mr. Harrington, I'd say, you've been the principal here for the last, 3 years now?
It's my third year.
Almost 4. What's your favorite memory just from these past couple of years?
Jeez, my favorite memory these past couple of years. The recurring memory I have, yesterday was a pretty nice one.
Yeah.
But, these are all kind of the same, and you guys will see this in May when you graduate. That feeling we have when you guys walk out, with the Shannon Rovers, and you're out there outside of Holy Name. It's an amazing thing that most people don't get to experience. And the love you guys will have for each other and the feeling of accomplishment you have for each other, I love that. So that's not one moment. That's a moment that I'm lucky enough to revisit every year. And just so you guys know, way back when I first started teaching here, 1999 and 2000, it's like ages ago, I still took that moment with me. Like, I remember when I met my now wife, I was telling her about, man, the graduation, it's like this. And she's like, what are you talking about? The Shannon who? Why are they smoking cigars? I don't understand any of this. And well, you'll get it one day. And, So I just love that moment for you guys, and your families are there, and alumni are there, your teachers are there, and you know we're very lucky here, and that kind of epitomizes it.
Yeah, I could say I've been to res graduation, and then last year I was one of the ushers, I guess you'd call it, at the graduation for last year. I can definitely say big difference.
Yeah, it's pretty
Big
cool.
difference.
Another thing I really love, this is like a small moment, but standing out front, especially when it's not freezing out, with Coach Luke and Mr. Santucci, that's really cool for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all know each other. You know, I knew Coach Luke when he had hair and I had hair, believe it or not, and you know, Mr. Santucci was 15 years old, and now we're all standing there as adults, you know, in our 50s, 60s, and 40s, if you can believe it, and watching the new generation come through is a pretty surreal moment for you as a man growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you came here to St. Pat's, it was kind of like St. Pat's was. It was not at a point where it should be. You know, what was your coming in here? What was kind of like your game plan on trying to get enrollment up, like all these different classes? What was your game plan coming into St. Pat's?
Yeah, so, well, one of them won't surprise you, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, does he ever stop talking about this? And then the other, you guys are probably aware of. I think there were two things. The first one was, and I can't speak to what Pat's was before I got here. I don't know. So you guys were freshmen. I'll leave that to you guys to say. But all I know was the very first thing was we had to build relationships and trust, and we had to listen to people. So they really had to listen to students and what they wanted, and teachers and admin and families, and just kind of understand where everyone was at and start building trust and relationships again, because you can't change and you can't add on to what's already going on if people don't understand why or they don't believe in you, right? Mm-hmm. So year one was a lot of just trying to like prove myself that I was here for you guys and for the teachers. It wasn't about me. Meanwhile, there were some real things that we had to attack based on like we had to really attack, that whole career pathway concept, like this idea that we're not just going to school, because guys and parents have heard me say this. Any school right now, every school right now in America, kids are doing math and science and English. They're reading and they're writing. But what's different, right? What can we do that is like a value add to you? And that's where we started introducing not only this, but we really hit hard that engineering and fabrication, just because that's something that no one else had. Like there's no one else doing that by us, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was like a difference maker for us. And that hit all kinds of kids, right? With kids that want to go off and be engineers, like now they can go and say, yeah, I did 3 years of it. We have young men who are going to go off and work in trades, and they're going to have those skills. And then meanwhile, we're also trying to build up other pathways like education, business, public safety. We keep building those up too. So it was this balance of building trust and relationships, and then adding in programs that we knew could add to the lives of our young men.
Yeah, that's not going. It was a difference here my freshman year till now. It's a night and day kind of, but now freshman year I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I took incubator, learned like the business side of everything. I'm like, oh, well, I want to get into the business side of the world, and it really helped me, find my pathway now, going in accounting, which is business, and working with people, so working with other people's money. So I learned how to find my career path. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, 2 points with that. One, all credit go to not just him, but Mr. Richard had a big part of that in expanding it from Incubator 1 to Incubator 2. But the pathway idea is now like, so if we get an Elias who comes in as a freshman, how do we get to know him and say, okay, take Incubator 2. Hey, you should probably take marketing. Hey, you should probably take accounting, so that you have a plan, right? That's part of this pathway mindset. But even what we're doing right now, like this is a real thing. I mean, I watched you, Elias, you guys, your whole conversation. You know how to work that board? I don't know how to work that board. You know what you're doing with this iPad? I have no idea. I don't know about these microphones. I just bought all this stuff because I knew that this is something you could do, right? And we're going to bring more of that in here. But there are alumni right now, one of our board members, who has a podcast. I don't know how many thousands of listeners he has. We have a family coming in where the father has a YouTube stream, and I think they got like 200,000 followers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was in my group tour with Coach Macron.
Yeah, he talked about you.
Yeah, and I left his door open because normally I don't know why this side wasn't open, but Coach Macron made me come in here and bring the parents in the room, and I just talked to them about what senior season does in here, and I was like, not only is this just like a thing. And the dude was really, like, interested in that because I don't know who he was. He did something for the White Sox, I think, or something like that. But he showed me, like, his channel and his views and everything, and I was kind of like, wow, this guy does, like, the podcasting stuff for kind of like a living in a way.
Yeah, he wants to collaborate with you guys more. So he'll start being around. I mean, I know you guys are seniors. Yeah, he came in here. He's like, yeah, this is all the same stuff I have. But the whole point is, you guys could take this right now. You could continue to run with it. You could go out and get advertisers. You could still go be an accountant and also have your own podcast and have that be a career option, right? So this is part of that.
Yes,
anyway.
Something you carry memories through high school. You also carry, it's all back in your mind. You're like, oh, like I done bought podcasting. I can, maybe, I don't like accounting, so maybe start a podcast. Maybe 20 years. Text everyone out, Jack, No Way, and Jason, like, oh, let's hop on a podcast one day. Let's get it back. Yeah. So hopefully that happens.
I actually had a question. So I know everyone knows there's such a large amount of changes for the football program. Can you speak on that? Tell us what you're excited about and what your hopes are for the next coming decade of St. Patrick football.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very. Well, I'll answer that. But how do you guys feel about Coach Zybkowski coming in? I mean, you're seniors, you're going to be gone, but you're now alumni. You'll be Shamrocks forever. What do you guys think?
He kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, we had him on the we had him on the podcast already. He seems like a very intense guy who knows what he's doing and wants to win.
Yeah,
he's
definitely
nonchalant. Like, I don't know. It's like I don't know. He's different. He's scary.
He's different. He's scary.
He's a scary, nice guy. Like,
scary,
you gotta talk to him first, but like he talks about the same thing all the time. It's like you can't go in there and think about it as like a rivalry game. He's like, you gotta think about it as a game with your friends, and like, he's just always about winning. A very physical guy. He said that practices are going to be very physical. He said that we're going to be an upbeat, fast team. And I think it fits like who we are as the Shamrocks, like in every sport. I feel like.
Yeah, he's got that winning mentality.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell.
Yeah, and then one thing he always said is like, it's just like Notre Dame backyard football. It's like everything he said was about. He's like backyard football. Hit hard. Like you could see like, in the mornings, like we had baseball in the mornings. 6 a.m. full on yelling. And he's doing like most coaches, they kind of just stand there, look. He does like the workouts with the kids.
Which I feel like that's a very big part of the entire program. Him actually showing the kids that he's willing to get down and do it with them. So I feel like that would kind of drive the players more. Be like, oh, coach isn't just sitting back and watching us do this. He's actually getting up and doing it with us.
Yeah, and like I remember in the morning, he was doing a plank. And he was singing the Muffin Man song. He's like, the Muffin Man. It was so fun. I was like, oh my God. I started laughing. I was like, is this real right now? But he's different. He's a good different. He's one of those good different people.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I could play another year, like I'm not trying to sound like, but I think Noé can speak to it too. I feel like I would have liked to experience him coaching me. I feel like he would have. I don't know. I feel like he would have helped me really raise my potential to maybe something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just. I don't know. I feel like his school's gonna be. I feel like we're gonna be great. I feel like we're building like an army of Terminators, which is a good thing in a good way. But like, I don't know.
Well, so I I coached at Rolling Meadows High School, right? And I worked there for 10 years, and of those 10, I think I coached for 5 of them, maybe 6. I can't remember. And growing up, Tom Zibikowski was a name in that area, in the Northwest suburbs. He always was. He was a great athlete coming up. Just like, and you guys see that even now because we know who, great 8th graders and all that stuff. And he went to Buffalo Grove, and he was amazing, right? And so he was definitely – so Buffalo Grove High School is in Rolling Meadows Conference, right? So, I mean, he was very much a known quantity in that area. And so I got a chance from afar to see him grow up from Buffalo Grove to go on to Notre Dame. Now, I was a huge Notre Dame fan already. And then, remember, now we're back to Mr. Santucci. Mr. Santucci went to Notre Dame, who I coached, so I watched every Notre Dame game. It was just everything. It's all funny how life works, right? And then, he goes off to the Ravens. So he has this sort of storied career, especially in our area, in this, like, northwest suburbs. One of the things I like about that is I think he's going to be great for high school kids. I think he's going to be able to look high school kids in the eye, whether they want to go on to college or they just want to be the best, and go, okay, well, you want to be the best or you want to go to college, here's how this goes, right? Here's the price that you pay, and there's no faking it, and there's no, this is what it takes. And who's going to argue with them?
Nobody.
I mean, not to forget the fact that you're scared of him, but I mean,
he'll knock you out.
He is that. Well, you know what? And by the same token, and this is the first time I've really gotten to know him. He is turned out to be one of the most humble, non-egotistical. It's not about me. It's awesome. He's got such the right attitude. You think for a guy that's accomplished as much as he has, he would have a chip on his shoulder. And he doesn't. I mean, if he has a chip on his shoulder, it's just, I want to be the best for the guys I coach. So I think he's going to bring in that real X factor. I think we got great players. Everyone at this table knows that. We got some great athletes. We've brought in another 5 or 6 new coaches into the program to add to the great coaches we had, right? So it's all adding. And then I think he's going to bring in that intensity and that, fun. Because, but by the way, football, sports, baseball, it's all supposed to be fun, right? And a little bit of that crazy. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of that crazy, right? I mean, especially every sport needs it, but probably football and some of these other aggressive sports more, you need a little nuttiness. Yeah. And I think he's going to bring a little of that intensity too. So, yeah, we're excited about him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You think you're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo to be the quarterback coach here?
I don't know. I'm not sure where Jimmy is right now. Probably shooting commercials somewhere. I don't know. Isn't he? Where is he right now?
Not with the Raiders.
No, I thought he got picked up somewhere else. That's a great family, and he's a great young man.
No, yeah. I know he's a big Jimmy G guy.
I was.
Jimmy's great.
Jimmy's
great.
Well, any last quote, last thing you want to say, quotes, anything, speak your mind.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know that I have any quotes, but I think
final words.
Yeah,
final words.
All right. Well, thanks for having me up here, guys. It's good to see you guys doing this. I'm glad you're getting use out of it. I know you only got how much we got? 2 more months.
2 more months.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But keep pushing it, right? See how you're going to hand this off to the next group. Make sure that you communicate if you guys care about this, I think you do, hand this off to a group, let them know how important it is, and push them to take this to the next level. I think there's a whole level of monetizing this and advertisement that still could be explored. But no, I'm proud of you guys for keeping this thing going, and you guys do a really good job. It's impressive to see you work here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, shout out to the basketball team once again.
Shout out Jimmy G.
We'll see you boys downstate, all right?
Yeah, it was Urbana on Thursday, 6:30 against
Shout out
Brother
Mr.
Rice.
Harrington half day on Thursday.
Right on.
And fan buses will be here.
$10 get a seat
$10,
locked
yeah.
in.
So
What time does the league
1:30.
Yeah, like 1:30. So there's no reason. Cafeteria's open before, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And get fueled up, get to the game, and
Let's go win it.
if you don't, let's just say Mr. Harrington will give you guys a Saturday. So
Sure.
there we go.
This is approved. You give him a Saturday, Mr. Harrington.
We'll discuss it.
All right. See ya.
All right,
Peace.